night before I write, I tell myself I'm going to write the next day, just to set my intention so that when I wake up and say I'm going to brush my teeth and eat, there are no ifs, ands, or buts. It's going to happen one way or another. It doesn't mean that the writing is going to be good, but I'm going to write. I wake up, I meditate for 30 minutes. The meditation varies in terms of what it actually is. Honestly, sometimes it's just me sitting on my carpet for 30 minutes thinking about the day. But it calms me down, and sitting quietly does ground me. After that, I do the shower, all of that stuff, the hygiene, and then this is where it starts to get weird. I make a waffle every day. Like a waffle every day that I'm going to write. And then, we were talking about earlier, I watch music videos and movie trailers for like 2 hours, honestly. And, right, it's funny. But for me, and for anyone in here who writes, you know that you don't write with a coach over your shoulder. You don't write with someone saying, yeah, let's do it. I found, and I wish that I didn't have to do this anymore, to be honest, because it's 2 hours, right? But I have found that watching music videos that inspire me because of the music, and especially if the music is then rendered visually in an artistic way, that it inspires me. I used to, and I haven't done this for the last couple of months, have a folder of inspiration. People who were at the highest level of their craft but also stood for something. So someone like Nina Simone, right? Fred Hampton, Malcolm X, the late great Nipsey Hussle, people like that. I think about them for a while, and I just say, I hope that I could do your legacies justice through my own work in some way, and not achieve what you did, but live into my truth in the same ways that I believed you did. Then it's just getting loose for a little bit, and finally, after all of this, I know you're exhausted from hearing it, finally, I write. And ideally, something good comes out, but even if not, then at least I wrote, and I know that I will be able to revise it. That's the routine. I believe there's a difference between motivation and inspiration, right? Something like inspiration will sustain you for longer periods than Tony Robbins telling you that you're not good enough, or something like that. With Black Buck, it did pour out of me. I'm going to be completely honest, right? I can get up here and tell you that it was very hard, but it wasn't. Like, it poured out of me. Now, what was hard was revising it. Because of the fact that I don't have my MFA, because of the fact that I haven't honed my skills as a writer, the first draft was 168,000 words, right? And an editor once told me, she said, Mateo, the good thing about you not having your MFA is that you aren't afraid to write. The bad thing is that you're not disciplined on the page. Now, I would take that. I'd rather take that than the former. But that is when I had to, that was laborious, revising and cutting it down. This is about 110,000 words. Think about it. I cut out a book, basically, and then copy editing. Don't get me started on that. There were parts of Black Buck that were difficult to write, of course. It was not fun, subjecting Darren, then Buck, to all of these extremely racist things in the workplace. I wasn't like, yeah, then Clyde does that. No, that wasn't fun. And then what sucked was having him, not to give away too much, but having him turn around and hurt other people, especially other black and brown people, right? Like that wasn't easy. So that was tough. But for me, I believe what helped the words come out, is those first 2 manuscripts. I felt like, yeah, I was just writing, having a fun time. But it was after I said, I'm not going to pander to the industry anymore. I'm not going to pander to agents. I'm not going to try to write the book that they want, or write the book that I want for the people who I wanted to resonate with in the way that I want, and take some risks. I felt free. That's when I started having fun. And if at any point I became tired, then I would just picture someone like Mika reading this book and really enjoying it, and helping them in some way. This second book that I'm writing about, I hesitate to even say this while being recorded, this second book is very hard for me to write. There's a lot of things that are making it hard to write. Time, the fact that I already sold it without the publishing company. They bought it in what's called on spec. They didn't even know what I was writing about, which I was like, this is crazy. They're paying for this second book. I could be writing about anything. So all of that in my head, in addition to writing a book so different from Black Buck, it's public knowledge. My second book has invisible people in it. Invisible people. Whenever I tell that to people, like, yo, your career's done. What are you doing? You thought you were going to write another Black Buck, set in New York City and tar ups. I don't want to live this again, you know what I'm saying? So for me, it often feels, when I'm coming to the page for this second book, that I am relearning what it means to write and trying to find muscles that I didn't have before, or strengthen new muscles. But what keeps me coming to the page is the belief or the hope that it will help people in some way. And also the challenge, and maybe it's ego, but the challenge that this is a book that might be a little out of my skill set, and I need to land the plane. So that's what keeps me going. But you now have a bunch of different tools, music videos, and staring at people's faces and things that might be able to help you if you ever get lost.